following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. Hi everyone, thanks for coming back.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. I've been on the struggle bus all day, so...
Me too. I'm exhausted. So yes.
I'm pretty beat up. I'm pretty tired. I got my car on Monday.
Yay!
Yeah, I got a Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a SUV. It's pretty good. It's good.
How is your back and neck and all of that? Like, how's your body feeling?
It's still feeling the same. I've been trying to get into a chiropractor, and because of the holiday and the weekend, and I was working every day, I haven't been able to get in. I'm hoping to get in after this weekend because, again, I work
a million jobs.
A million jobs. I got asked to do another job today, and I was like, I know my limit. I cannot do it.
Oh, I was going to say, if you said yes, no, ma'am.
So close. It's a remote job, and it's like QuickBooks account, which should be easy for me, but I cannot focus on somebody else's another.
No. The goal is to minimize all that you're doing so that you have one.
Well, yeah, actually, I don't know if I told you that I'm starting another business, but I have started another one. So let me explain really quick before we move on. Really quick. Let me just lay this down.
Okay.
I really need to have something that I can work smarter, not harder, do it remotely from anywhere, and use my skills and abilities. So I partnered with a really good friend of mine, Tanya, and she's going to handle most of Orange County. I'm going to handle LA, but I'm going to run the business over both Orange County and LA.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is a mobile bar company, and we'll have bartenders and everything all set up. All it is hiring bar staffing and us taking the equipment and setting up and doing an event with, private events. And it's something I can do remotely, and it's something that can make a substantial amount of money. And I know it very, very well. I've been running bars, through my event planning business for over 20 years. So it's a no-brainer. So it's called Twisted Elixir Mobile Bar Company. And it's going to, thank you. It's going to be here in LA and Orange County. And I have got the Instagram up, the Facebook page up.
Wow.
I've got the website started. We're getting there. So we should hopefully be able to launch in the next couple of weeks.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I started it with $50.
Yeah, you're the queen. Like you said last week, you're the queen of starting businesses with $0 galore. Yeah.
So really quickly, I have this, I'm in this Tony Robbins groups on Facebook because I went through one of his programs and I love Tony Robbins. I'm like a whoop whoop for Tony. And there was this guy who lives in England. He is a health guy. He is all about health and wellness, and he helps women get in shape and get fit and healthy. And his name is Jamie Elston, and I got to tell you, he's like my messenger audio pen pal.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, he's just this sweet kid who I call him kid because if I was maybe 10 years younger. He lives in London, and we send messages back and forth, just encouraging each other and just like, pushing each other. And I just adore him. And I wanted to do a quick shout out because I told him he needed to listen today. Hey, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi. So if women out there struggling, trying to find somebody to help you get in shape and really understand your body, Jamie, check him out on Facebook. His name is Jamie Elston, Elston.
Nice.
So, yeah. Hi. How's your week? It's good?
It's good. It's been busy, but a holiday always throws me off. But
me too.
Well, but as a matchmaker, do I ever really have a holiday? I mean, though it was a holiday, I was still working.
Yeah.
But it's been good. Busy, busy, busy. It's good. I'm good. I'm feeling better. I was in a little slump for a second.
We need to get you more people in your business.
My business is growing to the point where I need like 1 million. I need a staff. It's just,
that's amazing.
I'm a control freak. I'm a Virgo, and I don't trust that people can handle and manage and comfort my clients the way I do. So
well, you have to find somebody that you can train to be your right hand woman.
Yeah. But I also want to start other businesses. I want to branch out and have, I've got, I say children, but they're grown men. But, I want to make sure that there's like wealth for my family later down the line. So,
Well, I'm the queen of starting businesses.
I know.
You just let me know and I'll tell you how to do it.
Well, we'll have to have that conversation. I'm excited about Julie again today.
Me too. Julie is the shit. That's the good shit. The good, smelly, beautiful shit. Yeah, we ran out of time last time. So this time we are bringing her back to talk about the same subject. It is busting dating myths part 2. And for those of you who may have missed last time, she was on, I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
And I'm going to tell you a little about her. She is a professional matchmaker and a dating coach since 1990. With over 1,300 successful storied couples, Julie is truly legendary in the dating industry. Using real-life examples and stories galore, Julie's spot-on courageous. I cannot read today, so we're going to try this again. Courageous, compassionate advice for men and women who are out there in the dating trenches is always well received. Julie is the host of Cupid's Coach podcast and has produced over 500 single events since launching her matchmaking agency in 2002. She is also in LA, and she is frequently a speaker at global matchmaking industry conferences. Let's bring on Julie and let's have our episode continue.
Yeah.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, I'm so glad to have you guys in my screen, in my office. We had so much fun last time.
I know.
And we didn't get to all the myths. So
I know.
Bada boom. We got to do it.
I love it.
There are only 732 dating myths, and we're not going to get to all of them, but
it means you're going to have to keep coming back, Julie. We're happy to have you.
Julie, I was just listening to your podcast. Oh, this is probably like a couple weeks ago. And you had Damona on there.
I love Damona Hoffman.
I love Damona. You guys talked about dating myths there too. So there's a lot.
Just today on a Zoom call, I was coaching a woman who is deservedly selective. All right. Mm-hmm. She's got a lot of the right qualities, which means she's going to be very selective, which means it's challenging because the guy she goes for, well, all the girls want to meet that guy, right?
Right.
So what she doesn't realize is that every guy she looks at when she's on Bumble or wherever she is, or she's, some guys approaching her at the coffee shop, he's in direct competition, not with the other guys out there, but with the fictitious image she has in her mind of who the right guy is. And this woman couldn't find any beauty or value or worth in any of the men that I thought she had a shot at. She went for the 3 usual suspects.
Which is what?
Oh, you might imagine. Tall, successful, charismatic, well-educated, and that kind of guy. What happens when he throws himself up on Bumble or Match or wherever?
Yeah.
He's on the treadmill because all the girls pick him. And then because all the girls pick him, he starts to think that his stuff doesn't stink.
Yeah.
It's a rat race.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like all day long, it's why I created my podcast. It's why I created my boot camp, because I say the same thing over and over and over again, one-on-one in my $295 Zoom consultations, which is where we get to look at people together. And
that's great.
That's where I get to determine. So I had a consultation this morning with a wonderful gentleman, and I was just praying that he would be reasonable, because he looks like the it guy. He's tall, he's good looking, he's well dressed. He came to my event with a beautiful blue sport coat on, and he, was kind and warm to everybody. So my fear was, we're going to get on the consultation and he's going to only go for the 3 Barbie dolls, right? But no, he was interested in a broad range of people. He wasn't entitled. He wasn't being narcissistic. He was humble, and it was just a delight. So there were 2 at the top of our list, and both of them have been my matchmaking clients. Of course, I have to give these ladies first crack at a good guy, right?
Yeah.
And so just before I got on with you guys, I shared his profile with 2 women who are deservedly selective as well, but I know they're both going to say yes.
That's great. Well, you're right, Julie. I find that a lot of men that go onto these dating sites find exactly what you're saying. They find that they are wildly popular because there is a massive amount of women desperate for a decent guy. And so he will be bombarded. And like you said, it inflates his ego. And then he gets attached to a lot of the attention. So it's hard for them to make the decision. They don't want to pull the trigger. They don't want to commit to anybody because they think, oh, well, there's 20 other women that just messaged me today and they're really pretty too. So I got to try them all out. And that's just this terrible rat race that keeps going, and it's just not productive.
It truly is. It's reminding me of a news program I did in Los Angeles, and it must have been in about 2012. We were talking about the same thing, that they won't commit to anybody because there's this itch that maybe there's somebody a little bit better right around the corner.
Yeah.
And it happens with anybody who's desirable and chosen a lot. And then the algorithms are set up to make us fail. Do you know that?
Yeah.
What they do is they serve up the popular people. Why? Because the popular people are the ones that drive membership sales and renewals. They don't actually want you to go off into a relationship. Then they lose 2 clients.
Exactly.
But people don't realize this. They don't think about it. They just sit there in the coffee shop and throw person after person in the trash. Do you know there was a time, I've done a million consultations at Casa del Mar Hotel in Santa Monica. It's kind of where a lot of the matchmakers go to interview their people. And it's not uncommon that I'll be
I need to go down there.
I'll be down there with my client, and I'll see another matchmaker, April Bio, be over there.
Oh, I love April.
Yeah, it's so funny. And we sort of wave at each other.
I love it.
And one time, there was another matchmaker over there, and I was thinking, the guy I'm signing up as my matchmaking client right now could be a really good candidate for her. And I took him over and I introduced him, and we were able to make that match happen. It was hilarious.
I wondered if you were going to say something like that.
Yeah. So sitting there in these big lobbies, watching people do dating, and it's not getting any better. It's not getting any easier. And the only way that we're going to get out of this mess is through education, through the kind of information that we're sharing. And, you know, I really encourage people to go out and do everything. Don't just hire a matchmaker. Don't just throw yourself up on match.com. What are you doing at the coffee shop? What are you doing? Are you brightening people's day?
I have a question for you, just as a fellow colleague and matchmaker. Some people believe that opposites attract, and then some people believe that like attracts like. And I've had clients ask me questions to both. What would you say, or how do you answer that question to your clients? Do you get that a lot as well?
All the time. And I really like to match based on shared values and shared passions. Especially the older we get, the more important the shared passions and values are.
100%.
So opposites attract sometimes, but not usually, sometimes not for the right reasons. I think complementary energy is really good for people to strive for. So one of the big problems, and I know you ladies see it all the time, is when we have this big, strong, powerful businesswoman who's large and in charge, and she wants a guy, you know, on her level. She wants a guy who's out earning her so that she can respect him. Don't get me started on that. Whether we should bring respect to men. We shouldn't wait for them to do something to earn it, you know,
to earn it.
They can feel it. So if a woman is an alpha boss lady and she wants to be with herself wearing pants with boy parts, it ain't going to work. Very, very rarely do I see a power couple like that. And when I do, it's when, and you probably see it too, it's when both of them have taken the time to really grow and mature to become masculine and feminine, right? It's the guy who's made money, but also would go to a Tony Robbins seminar, or also would go to church and open up his heart or something. And so opposites, they can attract quite nicely. And if they're exactly the same. Have you guys had Evan Mark Katz on your?
Evan?
No, but I love him. He's amazing.
We should have him on.
He's really good.
Should be looking for our complement, not our clone.
Okay, let's see. What do they say? You need to do shows on open marriage myths and committed marriage. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna jot that down because I think there's value to that. You want to know my opinion on what I think opposite attracts means?
Yeah,
sure.
I think physical opposite attracts. Physical. Like I'm blonde, blue-eyed, and light fair skinned. I tend to like men who are more olive complexion, darker hair, darker eyes. I tend to find that how do I say this? Overweight men like me, but they tend to want more fit somebody, but fit men tend to like me, curvy and soft. It's very odd, but I like the physical opposite attraction. I actually think you need to have the same values. You need to have the same type of, well, if you're a religion and you're a very strong religion, I think it's very difficult to do opposite religions. Especially if you're going to have children. I think that having your own energy when it comes to the things you like to do is great, but I think the majority of what you like to do needs to be kind of matching, because otherwise you're not going to do shit together.
At least a couple of things.
Yeah.
My husband plays a lot of tennis, and when my shoulder's cooperating, I can get in there and play too. But when it's not the end of the world. We get out there and hike together. We walk our dog together. We cook together. We've got this social group that we run together. You got to have a couple things, but one of the mistakes that I see people making, and it's just really funny, we women have a tendency, we have a superpower that's not good in dating, and the superpower is discernment, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And if you think back into all those years ago when it was hunters and gatherers. We were out in the fields picking the berries, picking the mushrooms. We had to discern what's the good mushroom, what's the one that's going to kill our family. But when we take that superpower and we turn it on when we're on our Match.com account or Bumble or wherever we are, trash, 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 trash. We're looking for what's wrong.
Yeah.
That is hugely horrible. And so I will see, that's one of the mistakes that I see women making a lot is they'll look, he goes skiing, forget it. I don't ski. So I'm like, but wait a minute, that's one of 12 things that he does. He might ski twice a year, but he eats
2 days.
Day, right?
Right.
He cooks every day. It's just, we're looking for reasons to find fault. And it's actually a defensive device because we're very safe that way. Nobody ever makes the cut and we get to be in our ivory tower and never have a relationship and everything's all, we might bitch and moan about that there aren't any good men out there. That's because we threw them all in the trash.
Exactly. I think that the hot topic these days is called a red flag. And I think that people are constantly, I think that in the past, a lot of women used to just accept a man and try to get to know him and look past the red flags, and then their relationship went to shit. And then they now have completely gone too far the other way, and it's all like, oh, I saw a red flag, he's gone. Oh, I saw this red flag, he's gone. And I think that we need to stop talking about red flags and start talking about how do we get to know somebody to see if they're the right fit for you.
I'll tell you how we get to know somebody. We look for the green flags, darlings.
Yes. Yes.
Look for what's right. Okay, so have I told you guys about my mascot for my company, Feisty Frida Ferman, my mother-in-law?
Oh, yes.
She's the most successful dater I've ever met in my entire life. And even in her 80s, she had 3 more boyfriends before she died in her mid 90s and she told me, she made me promise that I would tell everybody and keep this going. So every day I talk about her. She says, what we should do is look for the donut, not the hole. See the donut, not the hole, right? And when women go about dating, there's a woman that I'm working with right now, and she just has this knee-jerk reaction, like you said, Christine. Where's the red flag? Where's the red flag? Where's the red flag? Come on. If you look for it, you will find it. How about you look for what's beautiful and worthy of respect? Men can feel it when we're not bringing approval, admiration, appreciation. We're sitting there on a date like, yeah, show me. I'm from Missouri. That's the show me state. So that's the way women go on a date in Missouri. They say, yeah, show me you're worth it.
I think a lot of people too. Sorry, Christine.
No, go ahead.
Your point. Julie, I think a lot of people self-sabotage and they don't realize that they are. They go into situations, they go into working with matchmakers. I have clients that have stood so much in their own way because they already have a preconceived thought of what the date is going to be like or what the person is going to be like or who they should be with. And it completely blocks their ability to meet somebody completely amazing.
And also there's so much pressure as the matchmaker because people are like, well, I paid for this and I want what I want. And I told you, I want a guy who's 6 feet and he's got a master's degree or better. And he's got this because I paid for it. It's the thing that makes me nuts about being a matchmaker. It's what inspired me to start doing my mitzvah match initiative, because when I do introductions for free, which I do every day of my life, and I just hired somebody to help me with them. So now I can do lots and lots of more of them. There's no pressure. There's no pressure. And the matches are sticking better. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'll still take
I love that, Julie.
I'll take high level clients on, but I got to know that they are reasonable. And if we do our consultation and they're maybe interested in only the 3 usual suspects, I'm not an idiot. I'm not taking that person on. I want them to do everything else first before they hire the matchmaker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that understanding the bullshit before you get into that, I think makes for a much better client who's more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys inspired me. I have a podcast that's probably going to be dropping today that I recorded on Sunday, and I was staying at my friend's house watching their horses, and so I dealt with a lot of horse shit, and I called the episode something about horse shit. So you inspired me. If
I
you can
love
say
that.
shit, I can say shit.
Shit all day long. Tell us, Julie, what's one of the top myths that we need to bust today for dating?
Yeah, okay. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I run into this about every day. I need to be with a guy who's bigger so that I will feel small.
Safe or yeah.
Horse shit.
I kind of understand that. I don't want to be able to pick up my date and throw him further than he can throw me.
Well, that's fine. But it's like, okay, so I have a ring that I've been wearing for 34 years. And can you see there's like a dent in my finger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at one point I had to go and get my ring resized, and it was going to be an expense. And my husband doesn't like to spend money on anything. And he said, well, you could just lose the weight. I'm like, smack. Goodness gracious. I am never going to be 118 pounds again. But the thing is, whether we respect a man or not, it's not about how much money he makes. It's not about how big he is. Whether we feel feminine or not, go put on a pair of thongs or something, ladies. Put on a bustier, because if all the women are going for the bigger guys, they're the ones who become untouchable. So stretch. And whether we feel big or not, well, maybe we should get to the gym. Maybe we should eat fewer donuts, if that's really that important to us. I want to feel smaller than my man. Well, then get smaller than him or stop bitching about it.
Well, I don't think I mean weight-wise, because I've dated a lot of men who are like thinner than me, whatever. I don't care. I am curvy. I used to be extremely thin. I modeled for a very long time, and I feel like I'm working right now to get into my fitness journey. It's my fitness journey, not because I think I need to look better or whatever. It's my own health that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But what I mean is I have a hard time. This is my own flaw. I have a hard time dating a man who is shorter than I am, because I see lots of women with shorter men, and I love it. I really do. I respect that they don't care. I don't know what it is. It's a mental block.
I say stretch on it, because if everybody's going for the guy who's bigger, you put yourself in a very competitive environment. It's a shift in our mind.
Absolutely.
It's not that big. It's not that big a deal.
But I also think it has to do with the person's confidence. You can have a man that's 5'9", and if he is so confident and such a protector, I think you would feel completely different.
This is the thing. I'm almost 5'8". Okay. So dating men who are my height and a half inch taller, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. That doesn't matter. It's when they're 2-3 inches shorter than me. And I got to look down at them like a little child. I feel like their parent. I can't do
you're
that.
Being reasonable, Christine. If you're 5'8" and you're willing to date a guy who's 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", or whatever, you're fine. It's when, like a lady I was on a call with earlier in the week on Monday, and she's 5'9", and her number one requirement was 6'2" or taller. And I'm like, sweetie, do you know that's 3.8% of the whole population? She says, I know. And that's what I require. And I'm like, well, and who's to say that guy's going for you, right? So
Absolutely.
No wonder she's been single and frustrated for 20 years. She's got this lodged in her mind. Our mindset is flexible.
Right.
Yeah,
it is. One of my husband's best friends is this incredible guy, enormously successful. Not a big guy. His wife is maybe 3 inches taller than he is. She wears heels, make her like 6 inches taller. Nobody's ever even mentioned it. I think it requires confidence, not so much from the guy, but from
the
woman. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because I had a couple bad experiences on dates where the man lied and he was a lot shorter. And I I don't know. I wound up not liking the person and not
Yeah.
being attracted to the person.
Right.
So that kind of turned me off a little.
Right. But you don't want to put all men who are the height of this guy in that
In that
pile.
same
And the
chat.
reason I'm
True
defending
story.
you, look, I'm your advocate because I don't want you to be putting yourself in such a competitive environment that you'll never get picked, right? Because if you're only going for that guy, well, guess what? All the other girls have too, and you limit yourself. And I want your possibilities to be expansive. Did I tell you what I did with a lady in Milwaukee about height? Oh, this was my favorite. She's about 5'9", and she had this thing about height, as so many people do. And I've been doing this for 34 years. So I have no problem at all telling somebody when what they're saying is horseshit or bullshit or anything. So she was telling me there just aren't any good men in Milwaukee because she's dated them all and she's seen them all and she knows who they are. I'm like, well, have you been fishing in a certain place? She says, oh, yes. Well, I'm always 6 feet or taller, of course, because, I'm 5'9". And I said, so that's bullshit. So how about this next month? Only look at men who are 5'11". Only look at them. She said, well, I've never looked in. I said, that's right. You've never looked there. So she went to 5'11". So what do you think I did the next month? We have coaching calls once a
Had to
month.
get it down. 5'10".
Only 5'10" this time. Only 5'10". I'm telling you what, she was having so much fun. We got down to 5'8". And she said to me, you know what, Julie? The shorter guys try so much harder. And she said, and if they're short and bald, oh my gosh, do they try hard. She's in a relationship right now with a gentleman who is 5'8", and it's the best relationship she's ever had.
Oh, that's amazing.
Can we just get off it?
Yeah.
About only going for who's popular in today's culture. We got to get over it. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
If he's 5'5" and he wears like platforms, I'm good with that.
Well, I encourage you to do is consider, especially if he's knocking on your door. I'm not saying you should all go out like the lady in Milwaukee and target men who are 2 inches short or whatever. I'm not saying that. But if the man's knocking on your door, and we turn it down for something that's, if it's not one of your top 3 critical criteria. And this lady told me, the one who's 5'9", she said that for him to be 6'2" or taller is my number 1 criteria. And I want to hire you as my matchmaker. I said, I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm not taking you on. I'm not taking that on. No way. And no matchmaker should. That's ridiculous. Because for some reason, women think that height matters. And it's not where power comes from, or kindness. Did any woman, May Huey says this, if you haven't had May Huey on your podcast, you got to have her on it. She says,
May is great.
Yeah.
My relationship is so incredible because my husband's tall, because my husband has hair. Has no woman has ever said that ever. So I'm done with that. We'll move on to a new, I could yell at you all day long about the height thing, but how about feeling feminine? I need to feel feminine, and I need my guy to be a certain way so I can feel feminine. Bullshit. How about another one? The ages of the kids.
Oh, I hear that a lot. I actually just spoke to a client today, and she has 2 kids herself. She's got a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, but she won't date a man that has toddlers, like anybody under like 5. And I'm like, come on. But I hear that often, though, that they prefer people that are in high school or middle school or college, because a lot of people don't want to date someone that has younger children. So I am very curious to hear your thoughts on that, Julie.
Yeah, so they want to date the guy whose kid's in the middle of raging hormones. That's
right. The ones that are going to hate you.
Exactly.
For sure. So, I've got all these situations and I get to watch people, 39,000 people I've had in my community in 22 years. And it was so funny. Just last week, I wanted to make an introduction happen, and I went in to try to, and I'm like, wait a minute, the system wouldn't let me because I'd already tried it like 8 years ago. And the reason why he turned her down was because of the ages of her children. They weren't quite driving yet. Well, he's still single. She's still single. Now her kids are in college. And I said, listen, can I represent this introduction to you? He says, I've never seen that woman. I said, yes, you did, sweetie, 8 years ago. And you turned her down because of the ages of her children. And meanwhile, you've been lonely for 8 years.
8 years he could have been with somebody.
That's right. And the other thing, for a woman to say that about a guy, I think is especially silly, because look at it. Usually when a couple has divorced, who spends most of the time with the kids? Sometimes it's 50-50.
Yeah.
The mom is more often the ones who's with the child more often. So for a woman to pass on a guy because the ages of his children, and she doesn't even know if it's an amicable situation. I've got this couple that's dating right now, and it's really fun. They're in Santa Monica, and mother and father, the two who are no longer married, they live about 8 blocks from each other, and the kids can go back and forth. It's really a wonderful environment. And for anybody to turn down the opportunity to meet that woman because of the ages of her children, it's just crazy making.
Rebel brings up a point that I do kind of see. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that everybody's ex is a pain in the ass, but I do know that some people don't want to deal with, the ex drama, you know what I mean? But I think that that's all, specific people. If they can't handle their own relationship with their ex, they might not have been the right person to be with you anyway. If there's like constant bickering, constant fighting, and you guys can't just get on and move on, I can kind of see that. But I don't know.
I'm having a problem. Maybe you girls can help me figure it out. I try really, really hard to be accepting. It's just something that I do. I work hard on it every day to be loving and accepting and respectful, and to lead with it, to bring it to my meetings. But I'm struggling because I'm judgmental of people who are judgmental.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very hard, especially in our industry. It's very hard because we hear a lot of
I find myself judge people who judge people. So I get it.
And I won't I don't want to invite someone into my life as a client who's judgmental and quick to find flaws and quick to find problems. And why do we assume? Why do so many people assume that if there's an ex, that there's going to be drama? Maybe the person who's looking at it that way is a drama queen, and that's why she just expects it. Or maybe he's full of drama, and if we can't accept the reality that if we're in our 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and we're out there dating, we're either going to have two groups of people. They're either going to be people who have not had long-term relationships and they've been single most of their lives. Maybe they've got an anxious attachment style. Maybe they're just not good at relationship. Or we have people who have been in relationship, and all of the things that come about when a relationship falls apart. If they're on the online dating sites, or if they're with matchmakers, or they're out there at a meetup group for single people, well, the marriage didn't work out, or they haven't been in one.
Right.
So don't you see it where people, no, nobody who's never been married. Nobody who's been divorced. Because, there's going to be that. It's just mindset.
I find personally, my opinion about men who do on their profile that say no drama, no drama, no drama. I find that those are the men that drama follows them because they're the drama makers. And I avoid that like the plague. I'm like,
whenever somebody says no drama, I'm like, okay, well, clearly I think we've got communication issues here. We've got intolerance. And when it boils right down to it, the top 3 things that women are always looking for when we really get serious about it: the honesty, integrity, character piece, which really is all about trustworthiness. Would you rather be single for the rest of your life than partner with somebody who wasn't trustworthy?
Yes,
I would. Almost
100%.
There. More important how tall he is. Okay. And the second thing is kindness. Somebody who's kind, courteous, loving, caring. And I really believe how we do one thing is how we do a whole lot of other things. So I like to use driving as an opportunity to practice being a kinder human.
Especially here in LA, where everybody has road rage.
Yeah. Same here in DC. Everybody's upset all the time. Every day.
We often hear that a woman will say, well, I don't want to see a guy again if he was mean to the waiter, if he was rude to the waiter. Well, how's your behavior, right? Road. When you're at the grocery store, you're trying to run past the little old lady so you can get there first, you know? How do we treat ourselves and other people? Ourselves too. How we treat ourselves, how we treat other people. Do we take good care of our bodies? It all starts in here.
It really does.
That's why I have a different perspective all these years later in matchmaking, because I know I can't just pull the rabbit out of the hat. It's an inside job first. And if we can't see beauty in other people, we should not be dating. We're just going to be leaving a trail of tears.
What do you say to the people? I know you've heard this a million times, Julie. I've only been doing it for 10 years, so you've got so much more experience.
That's a long time, darling.
It is a long time. But what do you say to the women that say, you know, he has to make X amount of money? I think it's a myth. I would agree.
Such
that
bullshit. All right,
Thank you.
I got
We're
the
on the
total
same page
on this one. It's not a function. Whether a guy is worth dating or not in the money department, it's not about how much he has. It's not about his net worth. It's his relationship with money. Does he earn more than he spends consistently? Is he trustworthy with money? Does he have $50,000 in credit card debt and a tax lien on his home? Well, that's not a trustworthy guy to date, right? So it's not about how much he makes. I can't tell you how many times working at my husband's two Great Expectations video dating services, you know, we would run their credit before we'd bring him back into the office. And the person with the best credit would go in with the rep most likely to close the deal. I mean, it was just such a machine. How many people, can I tell you, had seriously a lot of money and earnings and all of that and really bad credit? So many. And then on the other side, there's the guy who owns a plumbing contracting company who earns more than he spends. He's the millionaire next door because he bought a property, he fixed it up, did the plumbing himself, sold that house, bought another one, never even went to college. And that guy's living in the big house.
I love it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ferrari's in jail for fraud.
I do have to say that I think the relationship, like you said, Julie, the relationship with his money is the most important thing, because I have actually been with people who have really shitty relationships with money, and it doesn't work out because they can't seem to, And
now there's one other piece of this that's really important. I'm glad you asked about it, Jada, because whenever I hear a woman use the word cheap, it's like the hairs comes back up on my neck, because we have to know it's not a fair thing to say about a man, because first we need to know what their love languages are. Okay, so if a woman, the other day I did a consultation with a woman who really likes getting gifts. She likes gifts. Okay. Well, I've done a whole lot of interviews, over 50,000 interviews with men. Of all the love languages, the ones that men care about the least, it's gift giving. Right. And the kind of men who give a lot of gifts and do that kind of love bombing, they're usually the cheaters.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're going after the young women, and so I won't let a woman use the word cheap around me. I will ask her what her love languages are and what's important to her. And if she really cares about hoity-toity stuff, like I come from the hotel industry. When I met my husband, I was a national sales manager at Ritz-Carlton hotel companies. Okay, so I know about nice hotels. I'm a little bit of a hotel snoot, but my husband is happy at the Hampton Inn. So you know what? When we're going across the country, I am fine staying in the Hampton Inn. They got good little breakfast in the morning. It's wonderful. But when we get there, I know I'm going to want a swanky place. And he doesn't enjoy staying in a swanky place if it costs $500, $600. It's not fun for him. So I just pick it up. I just pick it up without resentment. And every swanky hotel in 34 years has come from this girl right here or his parents. I have no respect for women who use the word cheap around men. Here's the secret. If we are willing and happy to cover whatever our own indulgences are, we're always fine. We call men cheap when they don't want to spend money the way we want money to be spent. And you
Right.
know what men say about it? They say, how come women are so independent, so self-sufficient until the
Yes,
minute they have a boyfriend, and then he has to
absolutely.
cover this and this and this. And some of the matchmakers, I've heard them on their posts and Instagram or whatever, defending that women should always let the guy pay for everything because it costs so much to look beautiful. That is horseshit.
I have horse shit. I have so many thoughts about that, but yes. Rebel says, how do you find out these things about yourself?
What kind of things, Rebel?
It wasn't actually my question. It was a caller.
Okay.
There we're asking, y'all were talking about your love language and things you like and whatever,
How do you know?
that type of stuff.
It's so sweet. You ask about it right off the bat. I think we should be asking all these fun questions on our little interviews before we get together, if we want to get together on phone.
Yeah.
So this is fun. Let's talk about love languages. How do you like to be loved? Why is that a problem to ask on a first date?
Yeah.
Well, Bill and I have got along for all these years. Most of the time we get along because acts of service on a day like today, when I do not get up from my desk from 4:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. That's what Thursdays are like for me. He'll bring home a cup of soup for me from the club. He will. That's an
I
act
love
of
that.
that
Yeah,
matters more to me than if he brings home some stupid diamond.
Diamonds.
Yeah.
I need scrambled eggs or soup. I'm starving.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
100%. I think acts of service, someone who actually wants to find time to spend with you, someone who likes to be affectionate and, really cares about hearing your day, but you got to give it back just as much as you're getting. And I think that a lot of people think, oh, once I get my stuff, oh, I'm good, but they neglect the relationship because they're not giving back just as much as they're requiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all need to practice kindness and practice generosity.
Yeah.
Find out how this person likes to get love and do it. I've got this beautiful woman in my life. I've known her since I was 24 years old. Her name is Rosalie, and she's on in years. She has early onset dementia. And I know what matters to her more than anything is for me to pick up the phone and call and say hello to her. And she may forget that I did it last week, but it doesn't matter. It means so much to her when I send her a note and I give her a photo of me and my dog, and she'll look at it every day, to go out of my way to pick up the phone and call Rosalie is an act of generosity. And we should all be doing more of that instead of, what's in it for me? What's he giving to me?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For me, I always felt like it was really important in a relationship for me to I always put myself first for myself. Okay.
Yeah.
But when I'm in a relationship, I think it's very important to put the needs of the other person very up front. I mean, I'm not going to neglect myself and say, oh, I'm not going to do this for myself because I have to put him first. I'm saying that there are needs that everybody has. I love greeting my person at the door. I love having a drink ready for him or food. I'm a nurturer.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? I like those things. If I don't mind making that call, I don't have to wait for the guy to call me. I don't, I always feel and always felt that what I give is what I'd like to receive. And that's what I'm look for in a partner, is someone who wants to give back just as much as he's getting. And for me, if I'm putting my person, in a priority position, and he doesn't put me in a priority position, then I know he's not the right person for me.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of the love languages. So, and we women, we tend to think that guys should just know. They should just figure it out. They should just know what to do.
They don't know shit. You got to tell them.
They don't know. You have to tell them. Yeah.
We're so much more complicated than they are. And we need to let them know how to win with us. There's one more myth I thought we would talk about. It's an important one. When especially a woman wants to dismiss a guy, veto him, discard him, throw him in the trash, because technically he's still on paper with another woman.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I dealt with it yesterday. This woman was like, oh, no, I'm not going to meet him. No, he's only separated. And so they just make these decisions. This girls sit around a table. Oh, no, that's a red flag. Well, let me tell you something. This man has been separated from his wife for 9 years. They have businesses together. Yeah, but she was ready just because she made that quick snap decision. And if she makes a quick snap decision about that, what else is she going to make? Right?
Now, if they're newly separated, that's a problem.
Well,
I
that's
did try one
different
time to date
situation.
someone.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, and he went back to the wife, and that was disappointing, but whatever. I learned my lesson. I have to it's time. You know, it's the same thing for me with
Questions.
someone.
Ask first before we
Yes.
assume. What is the
Like
thing? If you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you ask those questions. And there's a time in a woman's life and a time in a man's life where having a fun little playful relationship with somebody who's really can't be serious right now, and neither can you. That's perfect. Go to Club Med and have a whoopie-doo, but don't pretend that it's something that it's not. So it's just a matter of timing and who's in what stage.
Exactly. Well, I hate to say this, but we are like over time now. So Julie,
it goes so fast. It goes so fast.
You're our resident Cupid's coach. We will definitely be having you back. We talked about me coming on the show for you, but I think Jada and I should both come and have a little chat on yours too.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I hate to run so fast, but we got to get out of here because Rebel has another show after this. So thank you, everybody, for coming back and seeing us. And Julie, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Julie.
And we're going to be here again, same time, same place next week. Next week is going to be about parental alienation. So that'll be an important episode.
Right.
So thank you, everyone. And until next week, let's keep this shit real. Woo!
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.